Well, it finally happened. Premium connectivity in my car finally went away. I had gotten in my car early this morning and drove my son to school, and I still had premium connectivity. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I wonder if I'm going to get to keep it a little while longer, and they'll turn it off at some random point. Then I got in later when I went to go to work, and this message appeared. Ah, too bad. So it means that I'm back to standard mode, and I no longer have satellite maps, which is the one thing that I will truly miss. So I'm down to just seeing the regular maps as they appear on the screen as just directional maps rather than having the satellite view. I got kind of used to the satellite view over the course of a couple of weeks, a month or so. It got kind of fun, and I got used to using it and having some fun with it. So I'm going to miss that, actually, and that's the one thing I'm going to miss, and the one thing you can't replace using your Wi-Fi from like your phone. So I'm going to try using my Wi-Fi from my phone for a little while. I played around with it earlier, and everything seems okay. Like I said, I can go in and I can go to go to any of the radio things that I have here for TuneIn Radio. So I can go listen to music that I have here, and it should allow me to connect to it. There it goes, and I'll turn the volume up here a little bit. So that's streaming through the Wi-Fi connectivity there. I'm actually getting that. So that's pretty cool. That works. I can also do, as I said, I can do karaoke. That seems to work pretty well. We'll just pick a song here for a moment. And that seems to work pretty well as well. No problem. If I don't have this Wi-Fi turned on, that won't work. It'll actually give me a connection error. So I know that it's doing what it's supposed to do. I did notice that when I went into Hulu, it was a little slow to get started. It actually started off kind of slow. The commercials were very choppy in one of the early shows I was watching, and then as soon as it got to the show, it was fine. So it may just be the server that's serving up the actual commercial content that's got the problem. I'm not sure. I'll continue to play with it and see what else goes on. YouTube worked fine. Netflix worked fine. And as far as I can tell, entertainment works just fine. As I said, Hulu, I had a little bit of an issue with commercials, but otherwise the content seemed to be fine. So let's just pick a random show here to watch for a moment. We'll go to, we'll just pick something here. What can I watch? Let's see. Watch SportsCenter for a minute. Just turn that on for just a moment. It's coming on. Not coming on. Try again. There it goes. Okay. So it seems to take a moment to come on. It seems to be a little sluggish to connect, but it does connect eventually. There we go. Stephen A. Smith, thank you so much for joining us. So this seems to work okay. So that's that works. I can still watch TV this way, so that's good. And as I said, I can watch. Are you concerned at all? I can watch other things. I can go in and I can watch YouTube. Netflix still works, so those are all good. All of that stuff is still available to me. So mostly, I still have the ability by just streaming from my phone. All I have to do is turn on the Wi-Fi and then come over here and connect to the Wi-Fi from my phone here. So I just basically come on and do this, and it'll connect to my phone, and that's terrific. Something I noticed though, if I put the car in gear, I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to put the car in gear a moment, and once it moves me into position, the Wi-Fi went away. There's no more Wi-Fi sitting there. So once I take the car out of stop mode, out of hold mode, and put it into gear, I have to actually reconnect. So if I want to be driving and listening to something, I have to actually go through and do this and reconnect to it. It's weird how that works. I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. There may be some configuration setting I'm not getting at this point, where I need to do one more thing to make it work. And there it goes. See, it turned the Wi-Fi off. I don't know why it does that. It keeps turning the Wi-Fi off when I'm not using it. Very strange the way this works. I haven't quite figured this part out yet. So this is a little bit of a nuisance. If I want to stream something like, say, audio, or maybe somebody else is in the car and we want to do karaoke, someone else will have to turn it on to make it work. A little bit strange, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, as far as that goes. And you can see I went back into park and it hasn't found my Wi-Fi settings yet. Something's amiss here. Suddenly it just showed up there again. And I just have to tap it and it should reconnect me. No, see, it says connect this time. I don't know why it's doing that. It seems to disconnect me somewhat randomly. So it occurs to me it's going to take a little effort to make this work and figure out how it's going to work efficiently and how to make it work. It's not quite as simple as, when I'm using the car itself and I was using the service that's provided in there and the premium connectivity, it was always on. So it really was no problem. Doing it from my phone is going to cause me a little more work, but as I see it, most of the time what I want to listen to will be on my phone anyway. I can certainly go to, you know, the same streaming services on my phone and just go Bluetooth connect to the car and play them. So if I want to listen to a podcast, I can go listen to it that way, or I can go to one of the streaming services that I have, either TuneIn or Pandora or whatever, and stream it back through the car. So I think I can make it work that way and don't necessarily need to do that. The only time I'd really want to use the connectivity in the car is to watch TV if I'm stopped somewhere, or to be able to use karaoke, because sometimes, especially my daughter, she likes listening to certain songs. So we can certainly turn it on and let her use it that way, and that would work for me. I think I can make it work that way. I'll just have to play around with it a little bit to see what else I can do. Now, there are a couple other things I wanted to show you here in the settings that I hadn't gotten to show you, and there's two things outside the car in the compartments that I wanted to show you as well. So as far as the settings that are in here, would be in the Joe mode. And Joe mode, what that does is it allows you to change the volume of the chimes that are in the car, because sometimes they're a little bit loud and annoying. So by enabling that, I can actually go and have it go to a lower volume. I actually don't mind. I'm going to leave it like it is for now, but I can go and change it that way. There's also something else they added that I didn't notice before. It was the cabin overheat protection. So the car itself, when it's parked, it can tend to get a little bit hot inside, primarily because of the glass above. So it heats up inside when you've got it parked somewhere. So what they do is you can keep it protected by just letting the air conditioner come on once in a while to just kind of keep the car temperature at a reasonable place. So when it gets to 105 degrees, it can make a difference. So now I live in a climate where the temperature can exceed that sometimes, so certainly that will come in helpful. So that's kind of useful to me. The other thing I've got is I can allow mobile access, which allows me to get from my phone to be able to connect to the car. So that's kind of the cool feature when I can go and look at where's my car parked. I can turn the AC on. I can actually turn the Sentry mode on from my app. So those are very helpful things. The other thing I hadn't noticed before was data sharing. And what they tell you is that they're going to be sharing your data with Tesla so that they can actually use that to help them to get better with the features that they have. So they'll occasionally take clips from the camera and they'll do different things in certain situations. And it's like that aggregated, anonymized data that they're taking to help build a better autopilot. They've always been doing this. It's just now they have an opt-in thing. You're automatically opted in when you start. You can turn it off if you want to. I prefer to stay opted in. I'd rather contribute to the overall well-being of the community in that sense. So that's kind of cool. Those are the couple of things that changed that we have that weren't the same as they were before. Nothing major, but it's kind of interesting the way they set it up. One more thing I've been meaning to do, but haven't done in a while, it's this screen clean mode. You can see there's a button for it. And what that does is it just makes the screen black. And that allows me to come in and actually start cleaning the screen. So I can get rid of some of these fingerprints that are all over it. Okay. That should make it nice, nice, nice. I'm looking at it directly and it looks pretty good. And I'm looking at it through the camera and it looks pretty good. Hey, that's kind of nice, actually. There we go. And it takes me back into the main screen. And it's all nice and clean again. Yay! Now, as far as things outside the car, there are two things I wanted to show you. The first comes in the frunk. As we stand here in the frunk, there's actually a tool here that doesn't seem clear what it is. This tool that has a threaded piece and then a hook on the end. And the question is, what is that used for? You know, you look at it and you go, what the heck would I use that for? Well, the idea is that you would use that in the case that you need to tow the car. You actually take that out and you put it in, I believe it's right here. There's a little cap on this piece right here. You take that out and you screw it in there, and that allows you to tow the car when you're having it towed somewhere. So that you put the car in neutral and I can actually take it. It's a way so that you have something to hook it onto directly. And it stays in the car. It doesn't actually get in the way when it's there. You can just use it to get the car moving. The other one has to do with this guy here. So I've got my adapter in there. This is just the adapter that I can plug into a J1772 type. And I plug it in and I have my little door open here. But sometimes when the door is locked, this thing actually gets stuck. I've seen it happen to me a couple of times and I wasn't sure what to do about it. The answer is, inside here, right here, if you can see it, there's a little pull tab. This little pull tab right here. That pull tab will actually unlock that so that you can release it. So you basically just pull it and it unlocks it, and that allows you to take this component out if you want to. So it's kind of a clever little thing. It's sort of a manual release, if you will, just in case you get in that situation. where you can't get your car, you can't get the adapter out. Those are a couple more features of the car that we have. Things that I just kind of learned about along the way and figured out. So now I'm going to go on and start playing around with my my usage of my data plan on my phone and see how it goes. I'll give you an update later, but so far, with a little bit of thought and a little bit of effort, I think it should work just fine. Because like I said with my phone, I'm often going over my data limit. They give me a 2 gig limit, and after that, they basically take away the $10 credit I get. So essentially, it costs me $10 a month to go over 2 gig. And I go over a couple of months a year, so going over once or twice more shouldn't be a big deal to me. You know, that should work out okay, especially if I'm just using it for certain situations like watching movies and whatever other things I might do. So we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes, but I think it's going to work out okay. Like I said, I'll still miss the satellite views. I got kind of used to it over the couple of weeks, but otherwise, I think I can live with it as it is.